And on DAB Digital Radio. This is Solar Radio, your classic and 21st century soul station.
The families agree, we know what you need is a quiet place. We have labored to find a place where your mind can dwell, where you can while away the hours that fill each day. You won't remember the life you once knew. This is your home, you won't feel alone with the people here. And with each day that's spent, you'll grow more content with the atmosphere here. There's nothing more to tell, we wish you fond farewell. Maybe you'll find someone you can talk to. Here at Sunny Hill, you will see people live and die, but how pleasant life can be. Shuffleboard at noon, and you're gonna make some friends here, and you'll find out soon your life here may seem a bit too extreme and may be unfair, but you soon will forget as you watch the sunset from your easy chair. Sometimes the mind can change, but here they won't think you're strange. You won't remember the life you once knew. Here at Sunny Hills, you will see people live and die, but how pleasant life can be. Here at Sunny Hill, you will see people live and die, but how pleasant life can be.
And opening the show with a classic Bobby Caldwell tune, and it's Sunny Hills. I thought it was very appropriate to open the show with that. Big thanks to Bob Semple for the Bob Semple Show. Thanks so much, Bob. And thanks for always being so nice and saying nice things about me to lead on from your show, Bob. We are today in the studio talking to my very good friend, Roberto Valli. He is probably one of the longest standing members of the legendary icon who we call Bobby Caldwell, who we've unfortunately lost this week. But we are going to pay tribute to him and talk about his life and the music that has been so synonymous with many of us growing up listening to the music of this legend. I've got an interview I did with Bobby back in 2008, would you believe? when I first came here. And we're going to play that interview a little bit later on in the show because it still sounds current today. And we've got Roberto Valli in the show today. Hey, Roberto, good to have you here.
How's it going, Mike?
Sounds good, yeah. It's good to see you.
Good to be here.
And how are you feeling, man?
I'm feeling pretty chipper. I was on a plane early this morning. I did a show in San Jose last night, and it was 4 hours. I was playing with a dance band, actually, and I almost missed my flight. Oh. I must have forgot to set my alarm. The old seasoned road warrior dog. I woke up and it was like I should have been already at the airport. Anyway, I made my plane, and here I am with you. So
great. Yeah, great to have you. I just twisted his arm to come in the studio. I wanted to do it on the phone, but I said, we're going to have other people on the phone. The interview we did with Bobby was on the phone, so it was all phones. I thought it'd be nice to actually have you in. It's always nice to have you here in person.
And you fed me real nice, too.
Yes, I did. Yes.
Got a nice chicken tostada.
Good to have you here, Roberto. We're going to talk a little bit about the life of Bobby Caldwell. And as I say, today, most of the show is going to be dedicated to his music. We're going to play some of your music as well, and as a solo artist as well.
Thank you.
And we're going to be calling Tony Moore, drummer, and maybe even the guitarist as well, will come on the show today. Let's just talk about really the thing that made your connection with Bobby. And you're telling us about this track we're going to play now.
Okay, well, it's apropos that we play Real Thing. This the next song you're going to hear, and I heard this song at my cousin's house on Thanksgiving of 1990. So we were listening to CD 101.9, the smooth jazz station in New York City, and I heard this song, and I heard that voice, and I went, "Everybody, shut up! Wait a second, this is Bobby Caldwell. I recognize that voice," and I went out and bought his new cassette, and so I had the gumption. I was touring with Michael Franks at the time, and I had the idea. I wanted to invite Bobby to one of the shows. I wanted to meet my idol because I cut my teeth on him since What You Won't Do came out. I was like 19, just out of high school, traveling around with a show band, and one of the singers wanted to learn that song. So I faxed his record company, and I never heard back from them. And I was doing like 8-city run with Michael Franks all over California and all over the country for that matter. But the last day of the last show, I called the office, and as fate would have it, I really came here because I wanted to tell this story about like how fairy tales can come true, So you have to just kind of put it out there. Don't be afraid of failure. And I wound up calling. I spoke to Bobby's manager, and we were talking for like 5 or 10 minutes, and he said he'd pass my name on to Bobby, and Bobby wasn't feeling that well. He may not come to the show. Anyway, make a long story short, he came to the show. And he was all by himself, and I was so starstruck, seeing this guy in his trench coat and hat. And so I saw him coming in, and I played for him, of course, but he came up to me after the show with like these big eyes and a big smile, and reaching out his hand to me, like, saying how much he loved my playing. And
that's nice.
And the next day I was at his house, with controlled substances listening to brand new unreleased Bobby Caldwell, which was the Stuck on You record, or Solid Ground, depending on which country it was released. But and that meeting with Bobby, and that was the reason why I moved to LA. And all my success in LA as a bassist and as a writer and co-producer, it all came, from him. And I'm forever grateful. And I'm always going to, keep that in my forefront of who I can thank besides Almighty God, for my good fortune.
It's the Mike Parlett Radio Show. My special guest is Roberto Valli. We're talking all about Bobby Caldwell today.
The night once again. Tell me why it's so hard to find somebody who will stand by me and take the time to understand. And show me love again. I want the real thing or nothing at all. I need someone that I can be sure will catch me if I should fall. Ooh, someone who'll be there when I call, and I'll know that it's the real thing. To warm me each night, someone to love me over and over, making the future bright. Somebody who will make it alright. Just give me the real thing, yeah. Where is the moon? Won't it smile on just one more dreamer? Let your beams come down and fill my empty room. Here comes the night, but if there's still a chance that love can find me, I'll be here crossing my fingers for nothing at all. I need someone that I can be sure will catch me if I should fall. Someone will be there when I call, and I'll know that it's the real thing. To warm me each night, someone to love me over and over, making the future bright. Somebody who will make it alright. I wanna know for sure that I can feel secure, knowing I found an everlasting. And once I get that under control, then I won't let go. I want the real thing or nothing at all. I need someone that I can be sure will catch me if I should fall. Ooh, someone will be there when I call, and I'll know that it's the real thing. To warm me each night, someone to love me over and over, making the future bright. Somebody who will make it alright. It's gotta be the real thing, yeah, or nothing at all. I need someone that I can be sure will catch me if I should fall. Somebody who'll be there when I call. Got to be the real thing. Gotta be the real thing or nothing at all. Making the future bright, and I know that it's right when there's no lonely nights, and it's got to be the real thing.
It's the Mike Parlett radio show. We are playing the music of this legend today, Bobby Caldwell, and my very special guest and friend in the studio, who's been here quite a lot, is the amazing Mr. Roberto Valli in the studio. How you doing, Roberto? Yeah.
Good, happy to be here, man.
up to the
Thanks for
mic a little
having
bit.
Yeah, thanks for having me on your show, man.
And if we're very lucky, by the wonders of modern technology, we may even have his drummer on the line, Tony Moore. Tony, are you here today?
Hey, yes, I am. Very happy to be here, Mike.
Yeah, it's great to have you on the show, man.
Hey, Roberto. My
How's
dear
it going,
buddy.
T?
Oh, I'm all right, man. You know, up and down all this last week, thinking about our dear buddy.
Yeah, man. I want to
Yeah.
meet you down in the lobby, man. I want to walk over to the Osaka Castle, dude.
Oh, yeah, you
Remember
took
those
me over
days?
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, Roberto's taking me to some wonderful places. Just Japan was so wonderful, Bobby. I came in, the tail end, I think, 2012, something like that.
Sure. Yeah, man. But you
I
did
believe in,
your share.
yeah.
You-
Oh, man.
You guys have been all
just
over the world.
wonderful
with
experiences.
Yeah, you've been. I mean, you guys have literally travelled, all over the world with Bobby.
Mostly in the States.
Yeah.
I did travel with him only once abroad besides Japan, but I went with Japan like probably maybe 40 times. and
that's
I've
amazing.
also gone there with like 8 other artists, but Bobby by far. And that's why it puts
it's
Tokyo like my go-to city.
He
of
was
all
probably the
cities
most
in the
popular
world.
over there. I did when I spoke to Bobby and when I did the interview with him, he said he hadn't actually done too much in the UK, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Which is amazing to me that you guys really
amazing.
never made it to the
No,
UK.
no. I've made it to the UK with several other artists, but never to
Yeah.
with Bobby.
Incredible.
Yeah, I always thought that was kind of strange, just, that we didn't go to that market.
Yeah.
But,
Well, we
things
certainly
happen.
love the music over there. We're gonna just
Yeah.
kind of like swing around now and talk about the track "Stay with Me." Tell us about that.
Sure. Yeah, well, that was one of the songs that we learned to do in my beginning years with Bobby, and I was talking with his dear friend, the keyboard player Mark McMillan, and just talking about what a genius our boss was, and
Oh, yeah.
Mark mentioned that Bobby had a way of writing a love song, and he could say what people felt, and really even didn't have the courage to even want to speak it because it's so painful, and he had a way to let those lyrics come through. He wasn't afraid, of showing his heart in his lyric. And, this song is a perfect example. A guy is on bended knee because he's so heartbroken. Sorry, getting a little choked up here.
So take your time.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Let's listen.
Anyway, he just tells the story, and he's just short of begging her. He's like, baby, come back. So check out. This is some of my favorite Bobby.
How can you say it's over? What can there be that we can't overcome? Why do you turn away? Are you so afraid of needing someone? Didn't we say forever? I still believe the feeling's strong enough. Before you walk away, let me hear you say you don't need my love. Stay with me, darling, after all that we've been through. Nobody else can warm your lonely nights. No one's gonna love you like I do. Stay with me. Can't you see we've got too much to lose? Stay with me. Stay with me. Baby, please. Where is our happy ending? And all of our promises, did you forget? And tell me what's the use in love if it can't last? Oh, I can never let you leave it this way. I want you to stay, stay with me, darling, after all that we've been through. Nobody else can warm your lonely nights. No one's gonna love you like I do. Stay with me, can't you see we've got too much to lose? Stay with me, stay with me. Please, got to make you stay somehow. Tell me what's it gonna take. I can't live without you, so please don't leave me now. Stay with me, darling, after all that we've been through. Nobody else can warm your lonely nights. No one's gonna love you like I do. Stay with me, can't you see we've got too much to lose?
It's the Mike Parlett Radio Show. We are talking about the music of Bobby Caldwell today, sounding very much like Chicago. You know that one.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Well, he wrote this one with he was influenced by them, and also if you could hear some Beach Boy, you know, harmonies jumping out too. Yeah, so.
Absolutely. We've also got my buddy Tony Moore on the line as well today. We were talking to Tony. Tony, how did you actually get the opportunity to be in the band with Bobby? Because you were working with Gerald Albright and a few other people like that at the time, weren't you? So tell us about that.
Yeah, it was a very dear friend, Lan Richards, who was a kind of a mentor to me too. When I moved here from Chicago, I was like just straight here and like, you know, didn't know anything in the big city here. And Lan had me come in and substitute for him, and on a couple of shows. And then later, Roberto, that guy right there, brought me in, and I came in, and he got me on the gig. And that's
no, man,
that's
you
how
got,
it started. Kind of
you
more
got
regular.
you on the gig, bro. You got your groove. Well,
man.
maybe I got you the one gig, but your groove of doom kept you on the gig. You
because he
brother?
wasn't
Well,
sure.
thank you, man. Thank you.
Sure
Thank you, man. Thank you.
What's that now?
It wasn't
Yeah,
at
thank
Shaw
you,
at
man.
first.
But then you also got Carlisle on the gig too, as well.
I did get Carlisle Barreto on the gig. Yeah, man. I
Roberto was the facilitator.
I was doing something at Spaghettini's with Paul, and I met Carlisle. Carlisle was doing. They used to have a Sunday brunch thing there at Spaghettini that 94.7 The Wave was affiliated with, and there was a guy by the name of Anthony Long who played sax, and he had a trio.
Yeah. That's right. I used to play because I did that gig, and I used to follow him.
Right.
Yeah.
So he would do. And he had Hans Mullen, I remember, on keyboard, and Carlisle and Hans played key bass. And
That's right.
and so that's when I met Carlisle, and then we wound up doing some work together, and I heard him sing, and I just went, "Oh my God, I think this would be a good match with Bobby."
Let's play a track that Bobby wrote for Al Jarreau, and now we're going to play the Bobby version of this because this was the original. But he wrote a track called "All or Nothing at All," and it's not the version that Frank Sinatra did.
No.
This is completely different.
This is completely
song.
different. And actually, the groove that Bobby told me about that he kind of borrowed, let's say, for this song was that Sly and the Family Stones tune, "If You Want Me to Stay," because it's got it's got that same bass groove and drum groove, and that's what inspired him to write "All or Nothing at All."
It's the Mike Parlett Radio Show right here on Solar Radio, your classic and 21st century soul station. We are doing a special tribute show to the late great Bobby Caldwell today.
Every day we go through, I do something that'll please
It's the Mike Parlett radio show right here on Solar Radio, your classic 21st century soul station. Now, if we are very fortunate, we may even have some other people have joined us today. I think we've got Carlisle Barrow on the line and Tony Moore. Are you there, Carlisle?
Yeah, I'm here.
Here he is. And Tony as well. How about that? So we're all together on the radio.
Wow.
Very cool. All on the phone. And we've also got Roberto here in the studio with me today as well. Isn't that cool?
Hey, Bert.
My guys.
Hotel.
My boys. How you doing?
I'm all right, man.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was a bit of a it was a little bit of a shock, but obviously Bobby hadn't been well for how long now? Maybe a little bit, maybe
5 years, man.
5 years.
5 years.
Right.
Yeah.
It started about 5 years ago. Yeah.
And I mean, and the story was that he started out with a flu, wasn't it? Something?
He had some
It
sort
was a
of
head cold. Actually, a head cold.
Sort of a
Head cold.
Sinus infection?
He had some sort of a head cold. I don't remember if it was specified what he had, but I knew Bobby, and he had a doctor that he would call at the drop of a hat sometimes, maybe just to be maybe over prepared, like when we travel to other countries, whatever. So I guess the doctor had given him a good series of different antibiotics over the years, and I guess you can't, you might start to get immune. So finally, I guess he was down at his list, and he saw that he could give Bobby this drug called Levaquin, and it has a very bad reputation in the on the planet Earth of could be very harmful. It could help a lot of people, but it's one of those that what they call black card, where there's all kind of big warnings about
Black box.
Yeah,
black box.
Black box. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, black
and
box.
So it really took Bobby out. Slowly, very very painfully. He had pain in his legs. Found out his Achilles were all ruptured and scar tissue, and then it spread into his hands, and it was like neuropathy times 10, and it got extremely skinny. But he was still able to tour, and with a wheelchair and a cane, he'd do the shows, and I really didn't know how much pain. You can't really know what another person's going through, but he kept on going to the perfect storm of that, and then the shutdown with COVID. That's really what put him on the couch, and stopped the tour. And you guys remember our last show, the significance, in Vegas on Valentine's Day, and that was the last time the three of us played with Bobby. It was very last show, and it's so fitting that it was the last show on Valentine's Day, because What You Won't Do for Love came out on a heart-shaped LP in Valentine's Day of 1979. So that's and so his last show would have fallen on that day. We were all ready to go to Japan. I mean, right, guys? My bags were packed. They were packed, ready to go.
It was 4 days before we were supposed to leave.
I thought it was more like 2, Joe.
Maybe 2 days. You may be right. Yeah.
I mean, I think Jack was on his way. Bobby's manager was on his way to fly to New Jersey to get Bobby, and then take him. They would fly together. Yeah.
Let's listen to that song. We may play it again on the show today, but we've got to play this song, obviously, everybody. Let's play it today.
Right.
I searched to find the love within. I came back to let you know. Got a thing for you, and I can't let go. My friends wonder what is wrong with me. Well, I'm in a daze from your love, you see. I came back to let you know. Got a thing for you, and I can't let go. Some people go around the world for love. There ain't don't give up. In my world, only you make me do for love what I would not do. My friends wonder what is wrong with me. Well, I'm in the daze from your love, you see. I came back to let you know, got a thing for you, and I can't let go. I only want the best, it's true. I can't believe the things I do for you. What you won't do for love. You've tried everything, but you won't give up. In my world, only you made me do for love what I would not do.
We're not going to play. We won't play the whole song because we are just about to run the interview I did with Bobby back in 2008. The time really flies, unbelievable. But
you interviewed him?
I interviewed him. Yes, I mean it's going to be a little emotive listening to this interview and somewhat poignant. But we will listen to it because it's a beautiful interview. Bobby was there, and I believe even his wife Mary came on and talked to us as well at the time. And this is before Bobby got sick. Bobby was just doing great. 2008. I don't know. Were you weren't playing with him then? Were you Tony back then?
No. I think
I was
2012. Carlisle was. Right. Carlisle Roberto.
Yeah.
There's a funny story. Funny story too. You know, Carlisle. So many great sax players came out of that band. Yeah, we were just talking about that. Including Dave Cos and I remember a show we did at Dave Cos Lounge, the Spaghettini Dave Cos Lounge in Beverly Hills, and the actor from Goodfellas, Paul Servino, was in the audience with his family. His daughter, the well-known actress Mira Servino, his whole family was sitting at a booth, and we were there doing our show with Bobby. And went up and spoke to him, and he was very cool, very cordial. You remember him from Goodfellas? And he's like,
that day, that club didn't last long, man.
It didn't last long,
club did not last long.
It had some wonderful artists there when it was going.
Yeah,
and so Paul, so when I went up to Paul, he said, they gotta do something about the sound. They gotta get the sound together. It's like they really gotta get it together. And he said, it's not you guys. You guys are amazing. You guys are amazing. You guys are amazing. You're amazing drummer. Blah blah blah. He said it's just they gotta get the sound together. And then he says, once I stuffed my ears, it was amazing. It was freaking amazing.
Was this you're talking about Paul? Who? Paul Brown or?
Servino.
Oh, sir. Oh, that okay.
From Goodfellas.
Okay,
Goodfellas.
Okay, so he didn't like the acoustics.
He didn't like the acoustics. That's what it was. He loved the band and he loved Bobby. He didn't know who Bobby was, but Bobby came over and took a picture and was very cordial, and he took a picture with us. He's like, once I stuffed my ears, it was freaking amazing. I kid you not. Anyway,
unbelievable. All right, so guys, so now we're at the point of the show today where we're going to go over to this interview that we did back in 2008, believe it or not, November 2008. It's me, Mike Parlett, slightly younger back then, so my voice is a little different, and also we've got. I think Mary's even on this as well. So let's have a listen to this interview. If we could pull up the selection for it. A wonderful email from Dave Thomas. Thanks a lot. Yes, we'll try and find it for you. 2008. Yes, here we go. Here we go. And there you go. So just what I'd like to say, a big hi. This is the interview from Bobby Caldwell, taking you back to November 2008 with me on the Mike Parlett Radio Show. We'll be right back after listening to this. One of the original North London Soul Boys. Yeah, one of the old Funketeers. Yeah, Alex. He wants to say a quick shout out to his wife Marjorie and son Brian and little sis Inkla. Brother Ralph and Mum and Dad, love you all, says. And he says he's upset that Arsenal lost. And welcome, Bobby Caldwell, to the Mike Parlett Radio Show here on Solar Radio. Great that you could join us today. Thanks very much for coming on.
Hey, thank you, Mike. It's a pleasure to be here.
And it's just been looking at your website. There's some fascinating videos on there with you on CBS and a number of other mainstream TV shows that you've done. And one thing I was looking at, the famous song that really made it for you, of course, which is What You Won't Do for Love. And a wonderful rearrangement of that track that featured on your website. Tell us about the song and how it came about. Did you actually write the song yourself?
Yes, I did. And there was a co-writer, one of my good friends in Miami, Florida, Alphonse Kettner. Kettner. We wrote the song together, and neither one of us could have ever imagined what this would turn into.
Amazing, and so far it's been sampled. I think you said in the video that it's been sampled and copied by over 70 people so far.
Yes, that's correct.
The song that really made it for you. But what a lot of people don't know about you, Bobby, is that really you're a swing singer, really, aren't you? Your main influences Frank Sinatra, Nat King Cole, Tony Bennett. As really, when you listen to the voice of Bobby Caldwell, it's got that smooth kind of jazz sort of sound to it. And not the soul and R&B, which you've been kind of synonymous with, but more of the jazz kind of lilt. Is that a fair comment to make?
It's a fair comment to make, and with all due respect, I will tell you that I became ensconced on the radio as this blue-eyed soul singer. Was I heavily influenced by the songs from the American Songbook, i.e. Sinatra, Ella Fitzgerald, Tony Bennett, all that stuff? Yes, I was. You know, the family I grew up in, you know, it was like Sinatra headquarters.
Right.
These things you're referring to were kind of departures I made later on in my career, kind of revisiting some roots that I had, not necessarily my fundamental roots, but still things that heavily influenced me, meaning, you know, the Sinatra songbook and all that stuff. Do you see my blue-eyed soul vocals as being influenced phrasing-wise by these iconic singers? Yes, they were.
Yes, because obviously a lot of questions that people would have is how is it that you have such a soulful sound? Where did those influences come from? Because
well, after surviving years of living in a Sinatra household, I eventually, as a teenager, broke away and started to, you know, experience Marvin Gaye and Donny Hathaway and Stevie Wonder, everything that came out of Philadelphia and Motown. I started to get into that, and also, you know, became a giant fan of the 60s rock era, meaning like Jimi Hendrix and Cream and all that stuff.
And of course, I have to say the Beatles are probably one of your main influences as well. Is that fair to say?
It's more than fair to say. It's one of the hugest. As a matter of fact, I am currently anticipating meeting Sir George Martin, all right?
Wow.
I've found a mutual friend. And I'm sad to say that, you know, if my meeting is only 15 minutes long, I'm afraid I'm going to bore him to tears.
No way.
You know, how many questions do we have to ask?
I mean, that's right. I mean, there's not much chance of that, Bobby, really. I mean, another question I have to say is, I spoke to your wife earlier on today, and she said to me that you haven't actually performed in the UK, or certainly not for a long time. Is that true?
Yes, it is, and it's unfortunate in my perspective. I know that I did have some kind of history there. I have made it to Hamburg. I did do the North Seas Jazz Festival. And I have actually come to London and tried to pitch some material to independent labels with unfortunately, little or no success.
Okay, because you have a huge fan base there. I mean, certainly in London, there's a massive amount of people that follow you.
And I have had some extensive interviewing with the BBC One with a fellow whose name escapes me, but he did a standards show.
Right.
Are you familiar with this man?
Jonathan Ross, is it maybe?
That's it.
Yep.
But he was mostly addressing himself to the standards that I cut.
Right. Okay. Now that album, there's a standards album. Is that the Come Rain or Come Shine album?
That was the second one of the first. The first one was called Blue Condition.
Okay.
And so there were two, and it was, like I said before, it was kind of me like revisiting, my youth and songs that I loved. A singer whom I adored and was heavily influenced by, and the reasons I was so influenced was just the ability that he had to emote a song and tell the story in not just singing, but almost like living the song.
I've got you under my skin. I've got you deep in the heart of me. So deep in my heart that you're nearly a part of me. I've got you under my skin. I tried so not to give in. I said to myself this affair never would go so well. But why should I try to resist when, baby, I know so well I've got you under my skin. I would sacrifice anything, come what might, for the sake of having you near, in spite of a warning voice comes in the night, repeats and repeats in my ear.
You're a songwriter yourself. You've written songs for many people, including Amy Grant, Al Jarreau even, Neil Diamond, Chicago, just to mention a few. What was it like to... number one, which of those famous songs have you written, just so the people know? Maybe you can mention a few. And what was it like to actually work with those prolific bands and artists?
Well, first and foremost, it was my saving grace, because I fell upon a point in my career where I didn't really have a record deal. So I was kind of hands in the wind and like, okay, what can I do? What can I do to still become like involved in the musical community and better myself as a songwriter? And so I moved to Los Angeles and, through the graces of some important people, managed to hook up with other songwriters who were already part of, shall we say, camps, songwriter camps.
Right.
Chicago, Boz Scaggs, Al Jarreau, Dionne Warwick, Commodores, and of course, the Amy Grant and Peter Cetera was as a result of Chicago. But I got to say, this 4-year period of time for me as a songwriter was kind of like a self-grooming thing, like almost restructuring and relearning craft. And David Foster, who is, the legendary producer,
the great David Foster, yes,
and Celine Dion, and so on and so forth, kind of took me into his camp, under his wing, and I learned so much from him. And the group Toto, learned so much from them, and I became involved in this little tight-knit songwriting community and began to improve on my own personal craft and attach myself to the coattails of people who were already in the fold. Al Jarreau, All or Nothing at All, Boz Scaggs, Heart of Mine,
Right.
Commodores, Janet, and other chart records, that were top 10. When a major film company, say like Universal or Columbia or, whatever, when they come looking for Sinatra background music, it can't be obtained. I mean, the figure, the cost from the estate, meaning the Sinatra estate, they won't let these songs go for less than $100,000 for like 60 seconds of the song.
Right.
So somehow it came out there that, Bobby's got those songs. Bobby's got the songs. So will Bobby do it a lot cheaper? Yes, I will. And much to my accolade, it became very lucrative for me.
Yeah, that's it.
A lot of fun.
Yes, of course. So I mean, what have you been doing now, though, Bobby? Obviously, you're still a touring musician. You're still out there, very much in the fore of things and doing a lot. Just tell us a little bit about where you've been, what you've been up to lately. You've got a new album out, live in Japan. Tell us about that and some of the other things that have been going on.
Thankfully, I've got my fan base. I'm able to sell my shows. We tour all over the world. And, of course, as you made mention of, one of the target markets is Europe. And
the UK, of course.
We want to get in there desperately.
Yes, and we want you there too, Bobby. Definitely. I mean, like I said...
It's a tough business right now.
Yes, it is. It certainly is, especially with the way the economy is and everything at the moment. It's not easy for anybody out there.
Yeah, well, true. Even before this economic meltdown, even before that, this business was becoming very tough, all right? And hard to reckon with. And this is, I think, you'll pretty much get this from anybody you speak to, and I know you've spoken to a lot of artists. So it's a changing world out there.
When life was mellow, where we had golden sun, take me back, I said, I can't continue with playing in the park every afternoon. I've grown old far too soon. Someone please tell me why I can't be made to see what good's left in my life. Is this the end of me?
Though I was born in Manhattan, I really had no knowledge of. I thought New Jersey was like the Sopranos, okay? So we live West New Jersey out in the Garden State Park, and we live on a horse property, and we're all horse fans. We own our own horses, and we board a couple of horses.
Yes, your wife was telling me you've got 8 horses at the moment.
And 2 of them boarders.
Amazing. That must be. I mean, that's just that's got to be the way to live, really. I mean, you're obviously out in the country, you're not in the big city, and what a fantastic lifestyle. I no doubt you've probably got a studio there as well. Have you, where you work from?
Yes, I've got a studio here.
I was going to ask you actually, Bobby. Do you have to muck out?
I've mucked, and I know what it's like, and I know what it entails. Yeah.
But even Bobby Colwell has to muck out the horse stables, listeners.
Treat me like a fool. I can't keep on being cool.
that's something I meant to ask you about, Bobby. You play piano. I mean, do you play any other instruments apart from piano?
Guitar is my main instrument. Piano is my second instrument, although I end up writing most of my stuff on piano. So,
yeah, I mean, one of the things about CDs that I think we're losing now is the fact that you can buy the CD and you could take out the sleeve and you can see who's playing on there and you can see a little bit of writing about it. I mean, everyone's downloading now. We're kind of losing that, and I think that's a terrible shame. You just download an MP3 and that's it. You don't know anything about the song. You don't know. There's no sleeve notes or anything.
If you look at the last 20 years of the major labels, they are solely responsible for this occurring. And then they got sidebarred by, the technology, the ability of, people who, like us, people like you and me, who, okay, we hear a song on the radio, and we go, oh, I want to buy that album. So we go into Tower or Virgin or wherever we go, we buy the record, and the rest of the record is like BS, and we find the one song, and the rest of it's filler.
Right.
So now with the new technology, our kids, the new generation, they can assemble their own albums.
And an interesting thing to say as well is I had Patrice Rushen on the show a few weeks back. And and she was saying, a very interesting thing to say, she was actually saying that artists now, because no one's really making the real big bucks out of making music anymore, in terms of getting record deals and so forth, because the record company, no one's signing anybody. What musicians and artists should do now is actually give their music away for free, and then make the money in other ways with the ancillary merchandising and stuff and that, and then maybe sell the CDs at the gigs and so forth. But she said long gone are the days where you can actually make a good living out of selling CDs in a record store like we did in the old days. What do you think about a comment like that, Bobby?
I think she is right on the money with that. And here's why, okay? First of all, in the old days, the cost that a major record label would incur would be split 50% with the artist. That means everything from, packaging to advertising, marketing, everything. 50% with the artist. So it was a 50% chargeback. Now it's 100% chargeback. Okay? Now let's go back to something which I know you're familiar with. Let's go back to some of the iconic blowout albums like Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon. You're talking about 35 million albums. Tapestry, Carole King, 30 million albums. Now, if a major label sells 1 million albums, they're holding a party, okay?
Right.
So everything has changed. And let me add to this. They had the chance better than 6 or 7 years ago. And one of my good friends, Joe Walsh, from the Eagles, and a few other assorted artists, tried to usher in a new era of keeping this from happening. And it fell upon deaf ears. They went as far as Congress, okay?
Right.
To bring this to the table. And the record companies did not respond. And they had their chance, and now look.
There's new opportunities out there, but what?
Yes, there are. And you know what? That's and I want to go on record as saying this. Look, there's always going to be change. And some people, they cringe at the thought of change. And I think it's pretty much the way all people are. Mm-hmm. You get accustomed to a life and the way things work. You get accustomed to watching Johnny Carson, and all of a sudden, here's Jay Leno.
Right.
And so, there's always going to be change.
Yes.
Can you adapt?
It's just whether you can adapt. That's right.
And is it going to be for the better? Maybe it is. Maybe it is. And as far as, the marketing and merchandising, we're, heavily focused on that right now.
Right.
We use our venues. We use our website. And we found it to be extremely resourceful. So Is it bad? I think we're kind of, between you and I, we lament about, what was. Is there a future? Absolutely.
Yes.
And I've said this so many times in the past week. When you look at the world economy and go back to the classic Depression, the collapse of Wall Street, the one thing that was always constant was people always went out and spent their last cent to be entertained.
Absolutely. That's
It's the last vestule that failed.
People are always going to buy entertainment. They're always going to go out and see movies. They're always going to buy music.
Officially, I've been in this business really 32 years and change. And I think, that hit record, it's carried me to points that just are unfathomable. I just can't even, still to this day, I can't believe, what I've been able to, do with my career because of that one record. And a lot of people don't realize that, there have been 14 additional albums.
That's right. Yes.
Some of them do, some of them don't. So there's still some people who think I'm black, and I find that to be flattering because I always aspired to be a blue-eyed soul singer.
Right.
I guess you wonder where I've been. I searched to find the love within. I came back to let you know. Got a thing for you, and I can't let go. My friends wonder what is wrong with me. Well, I'm in a daze from your love, you see. I came back to let you know. Got a thing for you, and I can't let go. Some people go around the world for love, but they may never find what they dream of. What you won't do to do for love. You tried everything, but you don't give up. In my world, only you make me do for love what I would not do. My friends wonder what is wrong with me. Well, I'm in a daze from your love, you see. I came back to let you know. Got a thing for you, and I can't let go. Although I only want the best, it's true. I can't believe the things I do for you. What you won't do for love. You've tried everything, but you won't give up. In my world, only you made me do for love what I would not do. Made me do for love what I would not do. Make me do for love what I would.
It's the Mike Parlett Radio Show. We are gonna we're not going to play the whole of the interview because we want to keep Bobby here in our hearts and not hear him say goodbye at the end of the interview. We're just going to keep him here. We're going to keep music going. We're going to keep playing Bobby's music forever, and he'll always be in our hearts. And we're very happy to have Roberto here. He's got a little tear in his eye, and Carlisle and Tony on the line.
Yes.
Yeah.
There you go. So, as I said, the interview. There's more to the interview, but I think.
Is it? Will that be archived on your page if people want to?
Yes,
listen to it.
Indeed, yes, it will be. So you can. I'll be sharing this as a link on my Facebook page, and also you can go on Solar Radio's. Go to Solar Radio's website, and you can play on the whole show again. It's up on Solar Radio. We have a new website, I've got to say, on Solar, and all of our DJ shows are the replays are all on there for you to listen to, going back quite a few weeks, so you can go and enjoy them again, as you can with this one.
Sure.
Yes.
Thank you.
My very special guest in the studio today is Tony Moore, drummer for Bobby Caldwell and Carlisle Baratu, and the great. He's here with us right now.
Where am I?
The great Mr. Roberto Valle in the studio.
Yeah.
Can we send a shout out on the line? Watching your show is one of Bobby's biggest fans. Bobby's biggest fan, I have to say.
Yeah.
Yachio Shiwayama.
Yachio.
Yachio, we love you. We love you. We know you're hurting and you're in pain, and we just want to send you a big hug and lots of love. This is a wonderful woman.
Your son.
I want to send a shout out to all my Japanese friends and fans
All of us.
there.
Yes.
There was
many.
There was a group of them that would come out and just really support every tour that we did.
Yes.
They would go from one city to the other sometimes, And it's been really cool to listen to that interview with Bobby. Neither of us, the three of us, we haven't talked to Bobby much in the past, year and two, like when his sickness really took over, and he started to be in like a lot of pain where he didn't talk to many people, but hearing him, and it just reminded me, hanging out with him, whether we're in the airport or we're backstage, in the dressing room, for how many hundreds of shows, and having him in the room, and remember him talking about What You Won't Do for Love, to the fans in the club, and talking about like when he first heard his song on the radio. You remember? One of you remember where did he hear What You Won't Do for Love?
I was in the produce section.
He's in the grocery store. And he said.
I think he said that in the interview. Actually,
yeah, he yelled it out. Hey, everybody, look at me! I'm in produce.
That's hilarious. We're gonna play a song which from the album that came out in 2000, Soul Survivor. And this is a request from Roberto, and you wanted to play Back in the Fire. Can you tell us a little bit about this, Roberto? Yeah,
well, we had to learn it and we played it in Japan. We would end a lot of our nights with this up-tempo, ditty, and, it's just consummate Bobby Caldwell, the lyric, the harmony, and few people could write something as popular when you talk about like pop music, but borrowing from R&B and soul and jazz too, because the harmonies, the chords, we all know as people who maybe write ourselves, it definitely mixing jazz and pop and soul, but Bobby did that very well.
So far from right, it drives them insane. But we continue in spite of the pain. Some lovers can't admit to their mistakes. Don't we know it? Each one of us is too stubborn to say, baby, I'm sorry, we'll do it your way. Wise man would quit when love breaks down. Jump back in the fire. Some people
It's the Mike Parlett Radio Show. We are doing a very special show today. Hope you're enjoying it, listeners, and thank you for joining us. We're paying tribute to the late, great icon, legend, who is none other than Mr. Bobby Caldwell. And we got Carlisle Barretou and Tony Moore, and Roberto Valli is in the studio, and Carlisle and Tony are on the phone. It's
Yes.
wonderful to have you guys here.
Okay.
We're going to talk a little bit about another track that you were saying that he wrote with Mark McMillan.
Yes, sir.
The keyboard player.
Yeah. If I could just give you a little history of Mark and I met Mark. I was 19 years old playing in a jazz club. I was a house bassist in a jazz club in Key West, Florida.
Oh, wow.
And Mark was there with a band from Boulder, and they were playing like the hippest, like fusion. They were like fusion pop soul. And they were playing at Sloppy Joe's, and I was playing at this jazz club, and his band would come and sit in with us, and I'd sit in with them, and his bass player we wound up trading bands because he wanted to play more traditional standards, and I wanted to play more, more Tower Power-ish, play more contemporary stuff. So that was started my friendship with Mark, and we went to Europe together. Mark wrote very much in the style of Bobby. He was influenced huge by Bobby, and of course, like by Stevie and Marvin and all those guys. That Bobby also, were listened to and was inspired by, and we went and played in France a lot together. We played in New York. I became like his younger brother, and as fate would have it, Mark soon moved to L.A. Several years after I did, and it so happened that Bobby was in need of a keyboard player, and although they had met about a decade before in South Florida and had a couple of wild nights together.
Yeah.
I was also one to reintroduce Mark into Bobby's life, and they've written a couple of songs, including the one that you're going to play right now called I Give In, and it's a great mixture of, I could hear Mark's ideas and then Bobby's together. It's like, it's a special, and Bobby wrote a lot of stuff he co-wrote,
Yes.
And this one being no exception.
This is on the album of the album Soul Survivor back in year 2000. We'll say a big shout out to Roy Handelman, who was trying to get through on the phone. We'll see if we can get you on. And also want to say a few shout outs as well. We'll come back to do that.
That I don't talk about. Baby, she cheated on me and broke my heart. Yes, she did. And that's why I resisted your kiss for so long. But you're wearing me down, and I can't go on. Each time you touch me, the feeling's too strong. Can't hold back. Never felt this before. I've been captured, so let love begin. I'll give all that I can. Put my heart in your hands. I'm your prisoner. Baby, you win. And just maybe this time, I'll get it right. You just untie my hands. I won't put up a fight. I surrender completely to you. Girl, I give in. Ooh, I trusted someone I don't wanna think about, and I swore I'd never give my love again, never again. Now I'm losing the grip that I had on my heart, and so let love begin. I'll give all that I can, put my heart in your hands. I'm your prisoner, baby, you win. And just maybe this time I'll get it right. You just untie my hands. I won't put up a fight. I surrender completely to you. Girl, I give in to love. I'm gonna try all that I need are the wings just to fly. Take my heart, show me the light. I don't wanna spend another lonely night. Girl, I give in. Never felt this before. I've been captured, so let love begin. I'll give all that I can, put my heart in your hands. I'm your prisoner, baby.
It's the Mike Parlett radio show right here on Solar Radio, your classical 21st century soul station, paying tribute to the great Bobby Colwell. You can see where Boys to Men got some of their ideas there, I guess.
Yeah. Babyface.
A Babyface, yeah. In fact, I think Bobby did Bobby write a song for Babyface, or did
No.
he wrote a song? Actually, he did write a song for Janet Jackson. Did a some tribute song for Janet called Janet back in 1995 from the album
Yes.
Stuck on You. We'll play that.
Okay.
But just all those amazing harmonies we were talking about, and Bobby did a lot of those harmonies himself.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, just what a voice, man. I mean, when you listen to, kind of dig into some of these, probably lesser known songs, not the big hits, but you can just see the genius and the mastery behind the composition and the way that he put a song together. And he was a great keyboard player as well, right? Himself.
Oh yeah. I mean, he didn't destroy on any instrument like per se. He wasn't an incredible guitarist or keyboard player, but he could play everything, and he knew exactly what he wanted, and he
wrote beautiful songs,
and he got what he wanted. He got what he wanted, and just certain things you really couldn't embellish. He did give me. He never really commented ever in a derogatory way. I did have like a good bit of leeway and like to put my own spin on his songs. Like I would transcribe a lot of his bass parts who were quite intricate, that he programmed and he played on the keyboard bass, but yeah, it was a great experience, education, learning his tunes as a bassist and the way he would use bass notes against the chords. He did it in a very sophisticated, cool way.
Yeah.
You're so unsure, and you run here and there to ask my feelings. My friends only guess, they can't say really. Don't ask my neighbors. No, baby. Don't ask the friends I hang around. No, don't be afraid. Come to me. Don't ask my neighbors. Come to me.
of there you go. That's the sound of our friend Jenny McLean, aka Papa Mache.
Papa Mache, yes.
Yeah.
Jeannie.
Yeah, very nice. Don't ask my neighbours.
Jeannie used to live at your house, right, Carlisle?
I lived in her house.
Oh, you lived in her house. That's right.
Yeah.
She's been on the show. I've done we did actually, listeners, if you like to listen to that show, we do have that in the archives. Show with Jeannie McLean, and of course we were talking a lot about her work and all some of the people that she worked with over the years. Right. So have you got any other shout outs you guys want to say to anybody?
All of his fans, and of course all of his fans in Japan.
Yeah.
Tadayoshi, Yusuke, Jumanji. Wow, I can't think of all the names.
All the folks that listened to him, when he wasn't. It seems like now he seems to be more popular. He's getting some of the well-deserved recognition that he should have gotten, but nobody really knew. We knew, but not. I don't think the average Joe knew that all the songs that he wrote for other people and stuff. So I'm happy if anything, that is coming of his passing, that he's getting the recognition, and I hope it'll get more and more like what a big impact he was on the pop, the pop soul, blue-eyed soul world for sure. Yeah. He wrote the book on it.
She's playing with my heart, but Janet's so aware, and people tell me she's telling you lies. I guess they wonder how I stand alone. But when I look in her eyes, I know it's love the way I planned it. I believe in Janet. They don't understand it. The whole world must be wrong. Gave my heart to Janet. She won't leave me on. There can never be another girl like Janet. No, it's only her and me together on this planet. And people tell me she's telling you lies. I guess they wonder how I stand alone. But when I look in her eyes, I know it's love the way I planned it. I believe in Janet. They don't understand it. The whole world must be wrong. Gave my heart to Janet. She won't leave me on. No.
It's the Mike Parlett Radio Show. We're here on Solar Radio, and don't forget, listeners, we will be. The show will be available on our brand new website. We're very proud of our new website here at Solar, and it's definitely worth checking out. It's solarradio.com. Go and look at our website, and there's information about all the presenters here on the station. If you're looking at listeners, if you're looking at our video feed right now, you see this dog here. Look, God, this dog is in love with Roberto. What's going on?
Obviously, she's a bitch with good taste. I said it. Okay, she's a bitch with good taste. No, I don't know why.
What's going on there?
My father never let me have a dog or a cat because he said, one animal was enough in the house. That was me. But I don't know. Maybe it's the BLT that I had. The BLT that I had this morning.
Maybe you should take Ella home with you.
No, I don't think so. I don't
There
think
she
so.
is.
But I'm happy. I'm like an ant. I'm over,
Anyway,
pet
Digi's
her
down
and-
there
and
as
then,
well.
yeah.
Anyway, so for all you dog people out there, yes, we still have Digi. He's in his bed. He's kind of an old guy these days, so he doesn't make too much of an entrance like he used to. But he's still there, going strong.
You know, Bobby had a beautiful dog too.
Oh yeah, and they're all horses as well. Don't forget the horses. So we want to. Hey guys, I just an idea. What do you think?
Right.
Do you think it'll be an idea that if you guys put like a tribute band together and went over to Japan and played in Japan and had maybe someone sing Bobby's parts and just going out there? Don't you think? I'm sure you get a lot of people come to the show just as a tribute to Bobby. What do you think about that idea?
You go, Tony.
Well, it's I've been going through waves about Bobby, and I was looking at a video. It's funny. I was in a hotel the other night in Sedona, and Mary, Bobby's wife, called me, and I was watching an old video of Bobby and listening to a song, and it's just, right now I'm just still in shock, and I think it's too early to even think about anything like that right now, Michael.
Yeah.
I think it's his public viewing is Tuesday, and service is Wednesday.
In the future, it's just something.
So I think we need to send him off, and he has a lot of fans, and that's kind of where the focus is right now. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough.
You know what I mean?
We're gonna. I want to just kind of like to make a slight diversion here. I want to play a little song here. This is one of Roberto's songs, and this is his latest single. We're going to play this. This is Woody's Gap. Can you tell us a little bit about this, Roberto?
Okay.
Since we're here.
Yeah. Well, I was starting work on this kind of up-tempo Cantaloupe Island type of groove. I already had that kind of going in the works. I usually start my compositions with a bass and drum line kind of thing, and actually the Mark Dordman from Woodward Avenue Records, he texted me one day and said, hey, why don't you do something like Ramsey Lewis, Uptight? And this is before Ramsey passed. It was like a week or two before, and I thought, well, I'm kind of working on something with that sort of groove to it, and so I kind of finish up the song in terms of the arrangement, and I'm doing the final touches. I had Carlisle play some guitar on it, and I was hiking the Appalachian Trail with the artist Carol Albert.
Oh, yes, right.
And we kept on seeing the sign for Woody's Gap, this parking area, and she had suggested, hey, Roberto, your single, that should be your title of your song, Woody's Gap. And I thought, you know what, it's just kind of like silly enough where it'll be a great title, like a Cantaloupe Island, or what's a Cantaloupe Island, or
Exactly. Let's check it out. Woody's Gap, the latest single from Roberto Valley. We had to just play a little bit more of that. That's called Woody's Gap, and that is the great Roberto Valli on the bass, and that's his latest single, which is available for you listeners if you'd like to get that, and you can stream it on Spotify. Everything's streamed these days, isn't it?
Mm-hmm, for sure.
Which is a good and a bad thing, because at least it gives people an opportunity, if they don't go out and buy a CD, that you can just pull up a track straight away and hear someone's music, which is really good. Oh, you can hear some music in the background. You guys, if you've got the radio on, if you can turn down the radio.
No.
Okay.
Oh, it's gone.
Right, so let's just quickly put that camera back on and get Roberto back on. Do you want to pop the headphones back on? Sure. We're going to play a track which was sampled by our friend over at the studio there. The one that's sampled by our friend, and it's a Bobby Caldwell track called
Open Your Eyes.
Open Your Eyes.
Open Your Eyes, which just speaks to the genius of Bobby and his writing, that his songs were covered by all types of artists. And Common was this song that Common sampled. It became a huge hip hop classic hit.
Well, Tupac and Notorious B.I.G. did.
Tupac and B.I.G. They sampled not this one, but they sampled other ones. Yeah,
other Bobby
they sampled
songs.
What You Want to Do. Yeah, What You Want to Do. Of course. Yeah.
My flame was Biggie.
Yeah. Yep.
Let's listen to this. This is Open Your Eyes.
Oh,
the original
Open Your Eyes.
Bobby Caldwell version.
I see you.
That's it.
That's it.
How can you be so
And this is
We
from
attempted to do this.
yeah.
Oh,
this
sorry.
is from the album from 1991. The album's called Cat in the Hat. Bobby Caldwell.
1981, brother.
1991.
81.
81? Oh, it's wrong. Okay, 81. I stand corrected. Well, at least Spotify should stand corrected anyway.
Yeah.
each night? Are you expecting to find the love? Love is right. Darling, open your eyes. Let me show you the light. Girl, you never find a love that's right. Darling, open your eyes. Let me show you the light. Girl, you think you're so wise, you're so wise. There are times when you'll need someone. I will be by your side. I take my chances before they pass me by. Oh, darling, there is a light that shines special for you and me. You need to look at the other side. You'll agree. Darling, open your eyes. Let me show you the light. You may never find a love that's right. Darling, open your eyes. Let me show you the light. You may never find a love that's right. Darling, open your eyes. Let me show you the light. You may never find a love that's right. Darling, open your eyes. Let me show you the light. Girl, you think you're so wise. You may never find a love that's right.
And that's a song also covered by John Legend as well. And
Yes.
that, of course, is Open Your Eyes, Bobby Caldwell from the Cat in the Hat album. Now, as we were saying earlier, Bobby wrote songs for so many other people, including this one where he actually wrote a song for Peter Cetera and Amy Grant.
And Amy Grant.
Yeah, let's
Yes.
talk a bit. Can you tell us a little bit about this, Next Time I Fall?
Roberta, do you have any information on that?
Have you have any information on the Next Time I Fall? They're asking.
Yeah, I think that came through. I know Bobby knew Peter Cetera very well.
Yeah,
And
Bob. Yeah, man. Bobby became very good friends with the guys in Chicago. I mean, they all lived in L.A. and in your interview with him, Michael, he was mentioning that there was like this songwriting farm, of his friends with Toto and Jason Sheff, the bass player that took Peter's place. Actually, Bobby recommended Jason for that job. Bobby told me that Chicago offered him the job as bass player because they wanted him as much of a bass player as for him to sing.
Really?
Wow. So he would be one of the few people that could do Peter as good or better than Peter. And so he started writing tunes, and I guess he wrote "Next Time I Fall" and gave it to Peter Cetera and Amy Grant, and they had a huge hit with it, and then he redid it himself on that album "Heart of Mine." I
Taking
believe
you back to 1986 from the album Solitaire. Here we go. Peter Cetera. Written by the great Bobby Caldwell.
Like a road that never ends, how it leads me back again to heartache I never understand.
Darling, I put my heart upon the shelf till the moment was right, and I tell myself,
next time I fall in love, I'll know better what to do. Next time I fall in love, ooh, the next time I fall in love, the next time I fall in love, it will be with you.
oh now, as I look into your eyes, well, I wonder if it's wise to hold you like I've wanted to before.
Tonight, ooh, I was thinking that you might be the one who breathes life in this heart of mine. Next time I fall in love, I'll know better what to do. Next time I fall in love, ooh, the next time I fall in love, the next time I fall in love,
It will be with you.
next time I'm gonna follow. And if it drives me crazy, no matter why, the next time I try, next time I fall in love, I'll know better what to do. Next time I fall in love, ooh, the next time I fall in love, the next time I fall in love, it will be with you. Next time I fall in love, next time I fall.
Cannot go wrong with David Foster. There you go. Peter Cetera from the album Solitaire, featuring Amy Grant as well. Beautiful, beautiful song.
Yes.
So there you go. And we're going to just go over to a little bit more of the Bobby's swing and jazz side of things, kind of Frank Sinatra stuff that he used to do. And let's talk about this track, Roberto. You actually played on this. This is off an album called Come Rain or Shine that came out in 2005. Did you play on the whole album?
No, I shared the duty with Chuck Burkhofer, one of the hardest working guys in L.A. Nobody could play quarter notes like this guy. He just had this incredible sense of swing and feel. So obviously Bobby knew the right people to call.
And when you guys went out and did the live shows, did you do some of the the swing stuff as well with him?
Even with the pop band, we would do 1 or 2 or 3 of the big band stuff, but I actually did full on big band shows. Carlisle did as well, and and we
too.
Actually modified. Tony, you did too.
I did one in Minneapolis. Yeah. And it's funny because Jack sent me the most beautiful girl in the world, and it's this fast up-tempo swing. And he's like, "Hey, can you play that?" That's why it's like.
Yeah, that was from the later record. I think that Andrew New did the horn arrangement. Yeah,
exactly.
it's like the BPM is like 200 or something crazy. He had the Annapolis swing band, the American, the naval band or whatever, the big band.
Airmen of Note.
Thank you.
Yes, of course. Yep.
Yeah, killer.
Yeah. One take, Bobby said. He said when he went in, they did those songs, one take, bam, they hit it, and it was done. Next song. No mistakes. He was like, it was amazing. He's like, this is amazing.
But Come Rain or Come Shine, that was years before. We did that up at Capitol, Capitol Records in Hollywood. And that was the first time that I got to record at Capitol in Studio A, getting flashbacks of like Sinatra doing those same Nelson Riddle arrangements right in that room in the same, I brought my stool, that I would want to, sit and play my upright bass. And they had this ancient looking like cast iron stool in the bass room, like in a little closet that the double bass player would be in. Yeah. And I looked at my like little flimpy thing and I ran back to my car. So I threw that thing back in the car. I wanted my butt to sit on that seat at Capitol that all those masters sat at.
So you did.
Yes, I did.
And here it is, featuring Roberto Valle on the bass, Bobby Caldwell, I Got the World in the String with the big band.
I've got the world on a string, sitting on a rainbow. Got that string around my finger. What a world, what a life I'm in love. I've got a new song I sing, I can make the rain go anytime I move my finger. Lucky me, can't you see I'm in love? Life's a wonderful thing, as long as I hold that string. I'd be a silly so-and-so if I should ever let you go. I've got the world on a string, sitting on a rainbow. Got that string around my finger. What a world, what a life, I'm in love. Life's a crazy thing, as long as I hold that string. I'd be a silly so-and-so if I should ever let you go. I've got the world on a string, sitting on a rainbow. Got that string around my finger. What a world. Man, this is the life. Hey, now I'm in love.
There you go. And I was just actually asking Roberto if that was done live, and apparently it was all recorded live at Capitol.
Yep.
Yeah. Were you on that, Carlisle?
No, I wasn't around. Was I around then? I don't think so.
I don't think so, man. I was a little bit before. That was pre-Carlisle.
Yeah.
I saw all the LA session cats on there, literally at Capitol, and recording all live, and Bobby singing live with the band at Capitol as well. When you were there, so you know.
No, I remember Chuck Burkhofer leaving, and I was there. I really didn't know much about him, and then I kind of, did a little bit of research about what a fantastic player he was. Just playing on tons and tons of records. He's actually the guy who played on these boots are made for walking.
Oh.
He did that famous bass slide,
Yeah.
doon, 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 and he also played bass on the Barney Miller Show and
Fantastic.
tons of records. And one record that I really enjoyed him and Peter Erskine was this Joni Mitchell record with a full orchestra.
Right.
And he was part of her, rhythm section.
Yeah.
So
I want to play a little bit of this as well. This is obviously it's been covered by so many people, but this is Bobby Caldwell's version of Beyond the Sea as well, on the same album.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Album's called Come Rain or
played it.
Shine.
Somewhere beyond the sea, somewhere waiting for me, my lover stands on golden sands and watches the ships that go sailing somewhere beyond the sea. She's there watching for me. If I could fly like birds on high, then straight to her arms I'd go sailing. It's far beyond the stars, it's near beyond the moon. And no, beyond a doubt, my love will lead me there too. We'll meet beyond the shore, we'll kiss just like before. Happy to be my love and me, and never again I'd go sailing. Far beyond the stars, it is near beyond the moon. I know, beyond a doubt, my love.
Before we go today, I want to say a quick shout out to a few people listening to today. Big listenership today. I want to say hi to Tom Brown, who's tuned into the show. Hey Tom, say hello to Tom Brown, everyone. Yeah,
Hey,
Tom
Tom.
Brown.
Hey, Tom.
Tom Brown's
Brown.
tuned.
Tom Brown.
He's tuned in. Also want to say hi to Cassandra Wagner. Roy Handelman's listening to the show. And also want to say hi to Toby Simmons. And
Roy Handelman.
yeah, there you go. Soana Stanley is listening to the show. Roger Lee, and I want to say, yes, there he goes. Tom Brown says hey. So thank you guys all for tuning in today. There's quite a few other people listening. I want to say hi to Clifford and Susan Griffith, and also my good friend Dave Thomas tuned into the program. Many other people tuned in. I'll say hi to Anita Dominguez is also tuned in, and lots of other people that are tuned into the show. Got to say hi to all of you. Thank you for joining us today. We're going to take you out with this. Yes, we're going to take you out with this off the Cool Uncle album. Came out in 2005, one of the more recent Bobby Caldwell albums. And I want to say, you guys, you all rock. Thank you so much for coming on the show today, Carlisle. Thank you so much, my friend Tony.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
And Roberto. You guys are all amazing.
Thank you for having us.
And thank you for just playing with Bobby and making all this music so wonderful and keeping it all in our hearts. We send our
Thank you.
sincerest condolences to Mary and the family,
The family,
and we will be
and all the fans.
all the fans as well, and we will certainly be playing this music forever. So the music of great Bobby Caldwell. Thank you once again for joining us. We're going to take you out with Mercy, Bobby Caldwell, Jack Splash, and CeeLo Green off the album Cool Uncle. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you very soon, hopefully.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Oh.
The only one I'm sorry for. passion